Jones and Keefe, Thursday, 11:30. Means it's time for Rob Bradford, WEEI, and the Baseball Isn't Boring podcast. You can check it out on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Get it on your phone. Free, easy. Take it with you wherever you go. Rob Bradford, brought to you by McFarland Energy, the heating, cooling, and bioheat delivery pros that Eastern Mass and all of Cape Cod depend on at McFarlandEnergy.com. Bradfo, how we doing? It's do or die tonight.
Oh, my goodness. I'm yelling McFarland ever since 6 o'clock this morning. It's just over and over and over again. And I will not bore you with any travel stories about me getting $800 vouchers because I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. I'm sitting here. I don't know what I'm doing. It's great. It's kind of good. It's kind of exciting. I don't know if you guys have that same excitement, the anticipation. Let's go.
I have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of feelings right now.
I feel that.
Yeah. Bradford, you say you don't know what you're doing. Could we apply that same thought to one Kyle Hudson? What, honest to God, what was that there with Nate Eaton?
Yeah, so late last night we got the all-22, right? We got the all-22 of the breakdown of that play, the overhead camera.
All 18, yeah.
Yeah, the all 18, exactly. And so, I don't think there's any question that the big mistake there was Kyle Hudson not reading the room right and holding Eaton. I mean, I think Eaton wasn't, as he said after the game, Eaton said, I was running, I was told to hold. I couldn't see the play after that. I couldn't see over there. And then that was that. But really, once Kyle Hudson holds him, I don't think he had a chance. I don't think it went up far enough away. But what he shouldn't have done was hold him, because if you see it, he holds him, and basically Jazz Chisholm is sprawled out trying to get his wits together to throw to first. There was no way he was throwing home. So he should have known just to keep going, just to keep sending him all the way home. That, to me, was the biggest mistake of all. I don't think it was after the fact. I don't think it was after it got away. I think that was too late. I think he should have sent him.
No, and I would agree, especially 100%. Knowing how Eaton's speed can change a game like we saw just a few weeks ago against Oakland. So I'd have him first on the list of who to blame for last night. That whole play was just so crushing. After that, the Raphaela bunt, and I didn't realize this would be such a debate today. I heard Greg Show talking about it. Me and Keefe actually disagree to a degree on how much of bunting there is on Cora, how much of the lack of execution is on Raphaela. How'd you view that issue for the Red Sox late in the game?
I don't know if you could feel the venom coming through my tweet when I just simply said 2 words or 3 words: tilt the bat, tilt the bat. It drives me nuts. To answer your question, I don't necessarily have a problem in bunting there, but if you have a participant who isn't willing to tilt the bat, then don't do it. Don't do it. That's what, and what I'm talking about, of course, is when you're taught to bunt, you're taught, do not hold the bat perpendicular. Do not hold it just flat, because what will happen is that you have a much less chance of getting the bunt down. Raphaela had 2 straight times, not only were the pitches out of the strike zone, but the form was just awful. It drives me nuts. So what that tells me is that he wasn't really a willing participant. He didn't know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it and you're not a willing participant, then probably find another avenue to go.
Well, and you brought up, Bradfo, there were 2, even if Cora wanted to do it, you saw him offer it the first one.
He looked so bad on the first one.
That's where I put some blame on Cora. He could have called it off after you saw the horrible effort on the first one.
Yeah, and I hear you. I would like to think that a Major League Baseball player, especially one whose game is somewhat predicated on speed throughout his career. I mean, this is a guy, keep in mind, this is a guy, when he signed a professional contract, had hit 1 home run, outside the park home run, his entire life. So what does that tell you? Probably he's had to do something along these lines at some point. But I don't know why you can't just function in that situation. And people will say, I know that baseball players will say, it's really hard to do. It's because the pitching is just, the ball is coming up, it's bobbing and weaving all over the place, and that's true. But even if you miss it, then just do it right. So I don't have a problem with the actual calling for it, but the execution was terrible.
two of the big decisions Cora had to make last night. When to take out Brian Bayo. He went quick hook on Bayo. And then how long to stick with Whitlock. He seemed to give him a long hook, as it were. So what were your thoughts on those two decisions?
Yeah, the Bayo one, we should have saw it coming. Bayo hasn't been great the last few outings. And, I think we all, or at least I was seduced with the idea of like, okay, we're going to do the John Lester, Josh Beckett, Kurt Schilling, Jordan Montgomery, Zach Gallen, Nathan Eovaldi thing, where you're just going to ride all these starters to the promised land. And yeah, because we saw Crochet. But no, that's not how these postseasons work. And we were reminded that with Bayo. His stuff hadn't been good. And I think they knew that. They saw that. And they're like, we're not taking any chances. We're going to rope-a-dope the Yankees. We're going to get all your lefties in there. And then we're going to come with all these left-handed pitching. And for a while, it looked like an unbelievably great move. But, I think that ultimately, if you go on any run, you have to have two good starters, man. Like, you have to find them. You can't just because what happens is what happened last year in the postseason. Teams ultimately run out of relief pitchers. And I think that's the predicament the Red Sox are in right now. And you go to Whitlock, well, yeah, Whitlock is like you got to the point of no return with him. Now you aren't using him. Like there's no way that you can possibly use him. You burnt him.
Nothing tonight?
What's unfortunate? What do you throw, like 48 pitches or something
47.
like that?
47 season high, yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't. Maybe they'll say all hands on deck and everything else, but that's really hard for me to see. I should never say he's not pitching because it is all hands on deck. Mm-hmm. Aroldis Chapman, I think, would have come in the ninth inning last night, even after getting 4 outs the night before. So, yeah, but still, like, what's this stuff going to look like? And this is, make no mistake about it. Like, we can talk about all the maneuvering that Cora has had to do and will do, but one of the foundations, one of the things that they felt like they could count on was Whitlock and Chapman. Like, I think that he said that on the afternoon show, he thought that was the best 1-2 combination for bullpens in the entire major leagues. And Whitlock almost got there, but then he got to the 2 outs, and obviously it went the other way. And that's to not have those two guys at their absolute best, that's on the top of the power rankings and how it's not going to work.
All right, so I have admittedly a stupid question, which could lead to a very smart answer.
Oh, I like it.
You mentioned the rope-a-dope there, and Bayo ended up going like 2 1/3. Because so many teams now have such lefty lineups versus righty lineups, is there any rule, let's just take this to the next level, is there any rule to say, hey, Brian Bayo's our starter. He throws one pitch, and then you put in like Connolly early. And then the next day you do the same thing. You're like, our starting pitcher today is Peyton Tolley. They loaded up with righties, and then you're like, just kidding, it's Brian Bayo. Is there any rule against that? Because it's not like a substitution thing in other sports. Like if that pitcher's out for that game, great, he's out. He's going to pitch the next day anyway.
Well, you got to face 3 batters, though, right?
Okay, so you got to face 3. Well, no, that's in a. But you do?
Yeah, you have to face 3. But yeah, you have to face.
That's
3
a reliever
batters,
rule.
Yeah.
Is that also a starter?
Oh,
rule?
that's a good question. I
believe it's every pitcher.
Okay,
you have to face 3 batters.
But can you be like, my arm?
Oh yeah,
you could be like, my arm.
Oh, wow,
my arm.
There's a lot of this, but unfortunately, there's a lot of on my arm. And by the way, great Rodney Dangerfield reference. There's a lot of Rodney Dangerfield moments in the postseason now. We saw it with the Cubs yesterday, where they're trying to outsmart themselves and bring Imanaga in after having an opener, just so he can avoid facing Manny Machado in the first inning, and then he faces Manny Machado, he hits a home run. You can do that, but you got to be careful because you only have so many pitchers. That's my problem with this whole strategy. Is that we're going to see again tonight, which is it's fine. You want to run out all these relievers? Yeah, last postseason relievers pitched more innings than starters. That's crazy to me. Mm-hmm. But what happens? You saw it in Detroit last year. You saw it with Cleveland last year. You really saw it with the Dodgers almost at the end, where you run out of pitchers. You have these guys running on fumes, and when you want to spin it forward to the night, like they can talk about all hands on deck, but believe me, if they are, I would imagine they are certainly banking on Conley early, maybe giving 5 or 6, probably not 6. That's unheard of.
7 or 8.
But giving 5 than they were Brian Bayo last night.
What do you think happens tonight, Bradford? Who you got?
Man, don't ask me that. I'm terrible.
I repeat. Who wins?
We must know.
Yeah.
Who wins? Yeah, you know what? Because I feel like the Yankees are going to win, I'll pick the Red Sox because I am also all over the place. Well, the one thing that I do think with early, and I think that maybe we obsess over the starting pitching maybe too much because ultimately these games have been decided with things like Nate Eaton and Whitlock and everything else. But I do think that if they are able to find a crack in the armor of our guy, the guy who used to put Christmas trees on top of cars in Walpole, Cam Schlittler, there you go. You're welcome. So if you can find a crack in the armor and you can do one of these things like they did at Fenway against the Yankees and put up 6 runs or whatever, and then you can ride Conley early a little bit. I can see Conley early doing well is what I'm saying because. Not only because he went to West Point and makes his bed and is very disciplined, but because he has that sort of mindset to succeed. He has the stuff to succeed in multiple ways, not just the Peyton Tolley 1 or 2 pitches. He can get all these pitches over the plate. I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed by the moment. I do think that Conley early is going to be good. And also the factor is, one of the things, guys, I don't know, Peyton Tolley came in last night, right? And he's been up and down. But one thing that you're reminded watching Peyton Tolley go against, I forget who it was he faced at the end, but it was they're an hour late on his fastball.
Yeah.
And that made me kind of think about when you don't see a guy, that's how that is. And I can see a little bit of that with early tonight.
Okay. It was Grisham who we got out last night in the ninth inning.
Stupid mustache. Not Tolley.
No,
Not Tolley.
No,
I like Tolley's mustache.
Grisham, stupid mustache.
Stupid
mustache.
And by the way, Lucas Giolito forgives you, Rich Keefe. He says that his appearance on Dork had nothing to do with his misfortune.
I feel terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should reach out. Maybe he has more time to do more podcasts, or maybe I should just stay away.
You let him know only half the show agrees with him. Anyway, Bradfo, good stuff. Check him out at Bradfo on Twitter. You can listen to Baseball Isn't Boring on the Odyssey app. We'll talk to you next week, Bradfo.
All right, see you guys.
All right. Thank you, sir.
I can picture
he's feeling positive though about Conley early.
Well, he is, but
early could be a little bit of a false hero.
He also said he thinks the Yankees are going to win, so he's picking the Red Sox. I was a little confused at all of that, but he does seem a little more. He
doesn't like doing predictions. Sounds like.
Here's what I got out of that.
Yeah,
he wants over on 8.5 outs for Conley early. I did get that. I got that out of his answer. Yeah.
What about over under runs tonight? 7.5. There's not been a lot of runs in the series, so is this does it continue or is this a 10-8 game?
7. I'll take the over.
Take the over.
Where's the juice?
I didn't
plus money on the over? Probably not.
Let me take a look here.
Where's the juice? I'll chase the juice.
Okay, it's close. Minus 105 on the over, minus 116 on the under.
Yeah, over.
You're going over.
Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. 617-779-7937. Schlittler, what did he say again? Put Christmas trees on top of cars?
Yeah. It's a good game. Very helpful.
Although,
that guy.
Did you verify that, Rob, or did he just tell you that? Because he'll also tell you he's from downtown Boston, but he's from Walpole.
Maybe he's just a liar.
There's a bit of a Bill Chisholm thing going on with him, quite frankly.